Deep within you, there's a voice, a quiet, persistent call. It often whispers when the world is still, or when you find yourself longing for something greater, something real. Do you feel it? It's not a demand or a shout. It's a gentle nudge, a reminder that your life holds a deeper purpose waiting to be discovered. There comes a moment when you realize the life you've been living doesn't fully align with who you are. Perhaps you've followed the rules, ticked all the boxes, and done what was expected of you. But even after all that, something feels incomplete. The world around you might look bright, but inside, there's a quiet longing, a spark waiting to ignite. This is your call to authenticity. It's the awakening of your true self, the part of you that knows you were made for more. For too long, you've been told to conform, to play small, to blend in. Society rewards those who follow the path already carved out, but that path wasn't meant for you. You weren't designed to be a shadow. You were made to shine, to stand in the fullness of your truth. Answering this call is not about perfection. It's not about being fearless or having all the answers. It's about stepping into the unknown with courage, knowing that each step will reveal more of your authentic self. It's about letting go of the masks you've worn, the roles you've played, and embracing the person you've always been beneath it all. Imagine what it would feel like to be fully seen, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. Imagine the freedom of living without the weight of others' expectations. This is the life waiting for you, the one where your choices are guided not by fear, but by love and clarity. This journey is not without challenges. The world may resist your growth, and old habits may try to hold you back. But within you lies a strength far greater than any obstacle. You've faced hardships before, and you've risen each time. This moment is no different. The call is asking you to trust in that strength, to believe that you are capable of creating a life that feels aligned and whole. Your time is now. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs the real you. This is your invitation to step into the light and claim your purpose. The question is, will you answer the call? From the moment we enter this world, expectations begin to shape us. Family, friends, teachers, and society at large hand us a script, a list of who we should be, how we should act, and what we should achieve. We grow up believing that following this script will lead to acceptance, success, and happiness. But somewhere along the way, many of us realize that living by others' expectations feels more like wearing a costume than being ourselves. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered whose reflection you're truly seeing? Maybe you've accomplished everything that was expected of you, earned the degree, landed the job, maintained the image, but inside, there's a nagging sense that something is missing. That feeling isn't a failure, it's a signal. It's your soul asking if you're living authentically or simply performing a role. The weight of external expectations can be suffocating. Society thrives on comparisons, measuring your success against someone else's, your worth against an arbitrary standard. It's easy to get caught in the trap of chasing what looks good on the outside while neglecting what feels right on the inside. The pressure to conform, to meet these invisible demands, often pulls us away from our truth. But here's the truth no one tells you. The expectations placed on you are not your responsibility to fulfill. The dreams you're chasing must be your own. Living authentically isn't about rebellion for the sake of it. It's about reclaiming your right to define who you are and how you move through the world. Consider this. How much of your life is driven by what others think? The need to fit in, to be liked, to avoid criticism. It all leads to a life lived on someone else's terms. But the moment you begin to question these expectations, something shifts. You start to see that the rules you've been following might not even be real. They're illusions created by a world that profits from your doubt. When you choose to step away from external pressures, you make room for something extraordinary. Your own voice. It's a voice that may have been silenced for years, but it's still there, waiting for you to listen. Releasing the weight of others' expectations isn't easy. It takes courage to stand apart, to say, "This is who I am, and that's enough." But with every step you take toward authenticity, the burden grows lighter and the path becomes clearer. You don't need permission to live your truth. The only approval you need is your own. And when you begin to live for yourself, not for the applause or validation of others, you'll find a freedom you never imagined. This is your turning point, your moment to choose. Will you keep carrying the weight of a life that isn't truly yours, or will you lay it down and walk toward the life that is? Beneath the noise of daily life, beyond the layers of expectations and doubt, lies a stillness. It's not the kind of silence that comes from an empty room or a paused conversation. This is the quiet power within you, a force that has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it. In a world that celebrates loud achievements and external validation, this inner strength often goes unnoticed. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't demand recognition. Instead, it whispers truths that can only be heard when you pause, when you allow yourself to be present. This power is your intuition, your inner compass. It's the part of you that knows the right path, even when logic or fear says otherwise. How many times have you ignored that small voice only to realize later it was right all along? That's the power within, a quiet but unwavering guide, always aligned with your highest good. Think of it as a flame deep inside you. Even when life feels dark, that flame doesn't extinguish. It may flicker, it may seem small, but it's always there, ready to grow when you tend to it. This flame is your source of clarity, strength, and resilience. The world may try to convince you that strength comes from external achievements, money, status, power, but true strength comes from knowing who you are and standing firm in that truth. It's the ability to stay grounded when life feels chaotic, to trust yourself when others doubt you. Tapping into this quiet power doesn't require dramatic action. It starts with a moment of stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Listen. What is your inner voice saying? What truths are emerging in the quiet? This is where transformation begins. Not in the noise of the world, but in the stillness of your soul. The more you connect with this power, the more it grows. It becomes your anchor in the storm, your light in the darkness. It's the force that will guide you through challenges, remind you of your worth, and keep you aligned with your purpose. You don't need to search outside yourself for validation or strength. Everything you need is already within you. The flame inside is your birthright, your divine gift. Nurture it, trust it, and let it guide you. When you embrace this quiet power, you become unshakable. The opinions of others lose their hold. The chaos of the world can't sway you. You stand rooted in your truth, glowing with the light of your authenticity. And in that light, you'll find not just your path, but the courage to walk it fully, boldly, and unapologetically. This is the power within you. Let it lead the way. Every journey to authenticity is met with resistance. It's an inevitable part of growth, a sign that you're moving beyond what is comfortable and familiar. Resistance can take many forms: external criticism, internal self-doubt, and the subtle pull of old habits trying to reclaim their place in your life. You may find that as you begin to live more authentically, the world pushes back. People who are used to the version of you that conformed may feel unsettled by your transformation. They might question your choices, discourage your changes, or even try to pull you back into their comfort zones. This is not because they wish you harm, but because your growth can illuminate their stagnation. But resistance is not the enemy. In fact, it's a sign that you're on the right path. Every storm you face has the potential to strengthen you, to teach you something essential about yourself. Just as muscles grow stronger by working against resistance, your resilience deepens when you stand firm in the face of challenges. Think of a tree weathering a storm. The wind may bend its branches, but its roots remain grounded. Over time, those roots grow deeper, making the tree even more steadfast. You are that tree. The storms of resistance are not here to break you, they are here to fortify you. The greatest resistance, however, often comes from within. Your mind might tell you that you're not strong enough, not ready, not worthy. These voices of doubt are echoes of past fears, but they are not your truth. Your truth is the quiet strength you discover within you, the flame that no storm can extinguish. To weather resistance, start by acknowledging it. Resistance is a natural part of growth, not a sign of failure. When external criticism arises, remember that other people's opinions are a reflection of their reality, not yours. When self-doubt creeps in, remind yourself of the progress you've made, the strength you've shown. Lean into the discomfort. Each time you face resistance and choose to move forward, you're rewriting the story you've been told about your limits. You're proving to yourself that you are capable, strong, and worthy of the life you're creating. Remember, no storm lasts forever. The winds may howl, the rain may pour, but eventually the sky clears. And when it does, you'll find that you're not the same person who faced the storm. You're stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your authentic self. The storms of resistance are not here to defeat you. They are here to shape you, to prepare you for the incredible journey ahead. Stand firm. Trust your roots. You are capable of weathering any storm that comes your way. There's a misconception in the world that boundaries are barriers, walls that keep people out or isolate us from connection. But boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to your peace, clarity, and authenticity. They don't confine you, they define you. Think about the most resilient structures in nature. A river flows freely, yet its boundaries give it shape and direction. Without them, it would become a flood, losing its purpose and power. Boundaries in your life work the same way. They are the lines that protect your energy, honor your needs, and ensure that your authentic self thrives. Embracing boundaries begins with understanding your worth. When you set boundaries, you're saying to the world, I value myself enough to protect what matters most. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. Without boundaries, you risk being pulled in too many directions, losing sight of who you are and what you stand for. But setting boundaries isn't always easy. It can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over your own. Saying no might stir guilt. Standing firm might invite pushback. Yet every time you honor your boundaries, you reinforce your authenticity and strengthen your sense of self. Consider the areas in your life where your energy feels drained. Are there relationships that demand too much without giving in return? Are there situations where you feel obligated to say yes even when your heart says no? These are the places where boundaries are needed most. Setting a boundary is an act of courage. It requires you to face the fear of disappointing others or being misunderstood. But it's also an act of love, not just for yourself, but for the people in your life. Healthy boundaries create healthier relationships. They teach others how to respect your needs while showing them it's okay to honor their own. Boundaries are not just about saying no. They're about saying yes to what truly matters. They allow you to prioritize the people, experiences, and goals that align with your purpose. They create space for your authentic self to flourish, free from the distractions and demands that don't serve you. Imagine yourself as an unshakable tree. Your roots run deep, grounding you in your truth. Your boundaries are the trunk and branches, protecting your core while allowing you to grow and reach outward. The storms of life may bend you, but with strong boundaries, you will never break. Embracing boundaries is not a one-time act. It's a practice. Each time you set a limit, you affirm your commitment to your journey. You remind yourself and the world that your authenticity is worth protecting. Step by step, boundary by boundary, you become more aligned with the life you're meant to live. The world will respect the lines you draw, but first, you must respect them yourself. Every journey toward authenticity is uniquely yours, but it is not meant to be traveled alone. The balance between seeking support and embracing solitude is a delicate dance, one that nourishes your spirit and strengthens your path. Both serve a vital role in your growth, like two wings that lift you higher. Support from others can be transformative. The right people, those who see your truth and encourage it, can be a source of unwavering strength. These are the friends, mentors, and loved ones who remind you of your worth when you momentarily forget. They are not afraid of your growth. They celebrate it. Surrounding yourself with such people doesn't diminish your independence. It amplifies it. Together, you can share wisdom, offer perspective, and create a network of mutual inspiration. But not all relationships nurture your authenticity. Some people may feel threatened by your growth, attempting to tether you to a version of yourself you've outgrown. Recognizing these dynamics is essential. Support doesn't mean clinging to every connection. It means choosing the ones that uplift you, even if it means releasing those that don't. Equally important is solitude, the quiet, sacred space where your inner voice becomes the loudest. In solitude, you reconnect with yourself, free from the noise of opinions and expectations. It is here that you can reflect, recharge, and realign with your purpose. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's communion with your own soul. There's power in the stillness of being alone. It allows you to process your thoughts, to sift through what's true and discard what isn't. It gives you clarity and builds resilience, reminding you that your strength doesn't depend on external validation. The harmony between support and solitude lies in understanding when you need each. There will be moments when the encouragement of others lights your way, and there will be times when only your own inner wisdom can guide you. Honor both. Think of a bird in flight. It relies on both wings to stay aloft. One wing represents the connections you nurture, the other symbolizes the quiet moments you spend with yourself. If either is neglected, the journey becomes unbalanced. Ask yourself, who in your life brings out the best in you? Who makes you feel seen and heard? Spend time with them. And equally, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly sat with yourself, free from distractions? Create space for that too. When you find harmony between support and solitude, you become unshakable. You move through the world with confidence, knowing you have a community to lean on and a deep well of inner strength to draw from. This balance empowers you to live authentically, fully, and boldly. You don't need to choose between walking alone or walking with others. You are strong enough to do both and wise enough to know when each is needed. In this harmony, you'll find the freedom to soar. When you choose to live authentically, a powerful shift begins to unfold. The veil of superficiality starts to lift and the truth, your truth, shines through. This alignment doesn't just transform your internal world, it ripples outward, reshaping your relationships, decisions, and the way you interact with life itself. Authenticity brings clarity. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you invite others to reveal who they truly are. Some relationships may deepen as they align with your authentic self, while others may fall away. This process isn't about loss, it's about making room for what is real. Living authentically also shines a light on injustice and imbalance in your life. The compromises you once tolerated, the unfair treatment you once accepted, begin to feel unbearable. This isn't because you've become less patient or more critical. It's because you've begun to value yourself. When you live in alignment with your truth, you naturally demand that the world reflects that truth back to you. This is the essence of true justice, not revenge, not retribution, but balance. Justice is what happens when you honor your worth and stand firmly in it. It's what allows you to let go of relationships, jobs, and situations that no longer serve you, trusting that something better is waiting. Inauthenticity, on the other hand, thrives on imbalance. It allows unfairness to persist, convincing you to accept less than you deserve for the sake of approval or peace. But the moment you begin to live authentically, that imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. Your authenticity disrupts the status quo, but it also creates space for something greater, something aligned with who you truly are. Justice begins within. It starts with the way you treat yourself, the boundaries you set, the compassion you offer, the truths you honor. When you act with integrity toward yourself, it becomes easier to demand integrity from the world around you. This shift can feel both liberating and daunting. It may challenge you to make difficult choices, to say goodbye to what once felt familiar. But remember, authenticity is not about ease, it's about freedom. And in freedom, there is justice, the kind that empowers you to create a life that reflects your deepest values. True justice isn't about fixing the world, it's about fixing your world. It's about aligning your external reality with your inner truth. And as you do this, you become a force for greater balance in the lives of others. Your authenticity inspires fairness and honesty wherever you go, like a light dissolving shadows. Step into your truth fully and unapologetically. Let go of what no longer aligns. Demand fairness, not with anger, but with the quiet power of knowing your worth. The justice you seek is already within you, waiting to unfold in your life as you live authentically. In the end, authenticity is the highest form of justice for yourself, for others, and for the world. Stand in it and let the scales find their balance. Adversity is a part of every great story, and your journey is no different. Challenges arrive uninvited, testing your resolve and pushing you to your limits. Yet, within these trials lies a profound truth. Adversity is not the end of your story. It is the forge where your strength and wisdom are shaped. Think of the most beautiful creations in nature. Diamonds are formed under immense pressure. Gold is purified through fire. The most majestic landscapes are carved by storms and rivers over centuries. The same process of transformation applies to you. Every difficulty you face holds within it the potential to refine you, to uncover a deeper layer of your resilience, and to awaken parts of yourself you never knew existed. But in the moment, adversity rarely feels like a gift. It feels heavy, chaotic, even cruel. You might question why it's happening to you, why the road must be so hard. These questions are natural, but they aren't the end of the conversation. The more important question is this: what can I learn from this? Every challenge carries a lesson. Sometimes it's about letting go of control, trusting that things will unfold as they're meant to. Sometimes it's about discovering strength you didn't know you had. And sometimes it's about seeing the world and yourself with clearer eyes. The process of turning pain into power begins with perspective. Adversity can either break you or break you open. When you resist, when you cling to what was, the weight of it feels unbearable. But when you surrender to the process, when you trust that even this difficulty has a purpose, something incredible happens. You begin to grow. This growth doesn't happen overnight. Just as gold isn't refined in an instant, neither are you. It takes time, patience, and courage. It takes believing that the fire you're walking through will not destroy you, but transform you into something brighter, stronger, and more aligned with your purpose. Look back at the hardest moments of your life. What did they teach you? What did you gain from them? Perhaps they revealed your inner strength. Perhaps they forced you to set boundaries or inspired you to take a new path. These moments weren't obstacles. They were teachers, shaping you into the person you are today. Adversity, when embraced with courage, becomes alchemy. It takes the raw materials of pain, fear, and uncertainty and transforms them into wisdom, strength, and clarity. This is your power, to take what life gives you, even the hardest parts, and turn it into something meaningful. So the next time you face a challenge, remember this: it is not here to defeat you. It is here to reveal you. Every step through the fire brings you closer to the truth of who you are. And when you emerge, you'll carry with you the unshakable confidence that you can face anything life throws your way. You are the alchemist of your own life. Trust the process, embrace the transformation, and watch as your challenges become the foundation of your greatest strength. The world is noisy. It's filled with opinions, comparisons, and expectations that clamor for your attention. From the relentless scroll of social media to the ever-present pressure to achieve more, it's easy to lose yourself in the cacophony. But amidst this chaos lies a profound truth. You don't have to compete with the noise. You can rise above it. Thriving isn't about winning the race that society has created. It's about stepping off the track entirely and finding your own pace, your own path. True fulfillment doesn't come from chasing the applause of the world. It comes from living in harmony with your purpose. Imagine a river flowing through a crowded city. The noise of the streets doesn't stop its movement. The river is steady, guided by its own rhythm, untouched by the chaos around it. This is the life that awaits you when you stop seeking validation from external sources and start living from within. Living authentically means letting go of the need to prove yourself. It's rejecting the belief that your worth is tied to how many accolades you've earned or how you compare to others. When you embrace this mindset, a profound shift occurs. The opinions of others lose their power over you. You no longer feel the need to conform to expectations that don't align with your truth. But this isn't always easy. The world rewards those who shout the loudest, who follow trends, who play by its rules. It can be tempting to join the race, to seek approval through competition. Yet, the peace you're searching for cannot be found there. It's waiting for you in the quiet spaces of authenticity, where your soul can breathe. Thriving beyond the noise requires clarity. Take a moment to ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What brings me joy? What aligns with my values and purpose? These answers are your compass, guiding you toward a life that feels not just successful, but meaningful. As you align with your truth, you'll begin to notice a new kind of peace. It's not the absence of challenges, but the presence of clarity. You'll no longer feel the need to compete or compare because you'll be rooted in the knowledge that your path is yours alone. And here's the secret. When you thrive authentically, you inspire others to do the same. Your refusal to bow to the noise of the world creates a ripple effect, showing others that it's possible to live boldly, fully, and unapologetically. This is the freedom that comes from thriving beyond the noise. It's the joy of living with intention, the strength of standing in your truth, and the power of knowing that you are enough, just as you are. So rise above. Let the world be noisy. You are the calm in the storm, the steady river flowing toward your purpose. This is where you thrive, not in competition, but in the quiet confidence of living your truth. Every step of your journey has led you here. You've faced resistance, embraced your truth, and risen above the noise. Now, you stand as a transformed being, someone who not only lives authentically, but inspires others to do the same. You've become a beacon of light. A beacon doesn't force its light onto others, it simply shines. It offers guidance, hope, and clarity to those searching for their way. In living your truth, you do the same. Your authenticity radiates, encouraging others to step into their own light. Your journey becomes a map for those still navigating their own. But this isn't about perfection. Being a beacon doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or doubts again. It means you've learned to embrace them, to see them not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. Your light shines brightest, not because you've avoided the storms, but because you've weathered them. Think back to who you were at the beginning of this journey. You might have felt uncertain, constrained, or disconnected. Now, look at yourself. You've grown. You've shed layers of fear and expectation. You've discovered a deeper strength and clarity. That transformation is your gift to the world. Your light doesn't need to be loud or overwhelming. Sometimes, it's in the quiet acts of kindness, the moments of honesty, or the courage to be vulnerable. It's in the way you show up fully, unapologetically yourself, reminding others that they too can do the same. As a beacon, you also create ripples of change. Your authenticity inspires authenticity in others. When you set boundaries, others learn to respect their own limits. When you stand in your truth, it encourages others to seek theirs. Your light becomes a catalyst, igniting transformation far beyond what you can see. But remember, your journey doesn't end here. Becoming a beacon is not a destination, it's a way of being. It's a commitment to continue growing, learning, and aligning with your highest purpose. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, and trusting that your light will guide not only yourself, but also others. The world needs your light now more than ever. It needs people who are brave enough to live authentically, who dare to bring truth and love into spaces that have been dark for too long. You are one of those people. So shine brightly, not for recognition or approval, but because it is who you are. Trust that your light will reach those who need it most, even if you never see the full extent of its impact. Trust that your journey matters. You are a beacon of light. You are proof that challenges can be transformed into strength, that authenticity is the greatest gift you can offer the world. And as you continue to shine, you pave the way for others to follow. This is your legacy, not in what you've achieved, but in the lives you've touched, the hope you've inspired, and the truth you've lived. Keep shining and watch as the world transforms in the glow of your light. Your journey has only just begun.